Thank you very much. We are here once again to share this gracious attribute of God in another dimension. The inner beauty of the real child of God. You know, it's an experience you must have to qualify for before the rapture, to meet thee at the blissful home, heaven. Thanks. This is an experience from a particular sister I want to share with you. Daniela was excited about following Jesus after her conversion at a Christian revival meeting held some months ago. Her attitude and lifestyle changed after the meeting, and she became a different person completely. Everyone in her neighborhood knew something had happened to her, because she was no longer involved in frequent brawls, extramarital affairs and frivolity, which she was associated with. If a person's character and personality had ever been transformed, Daniela's were. But Sonner, she began to sense that something was missing in her life, though she had assurance of salvation. Often, she struggled with the thought of returning to her old and sinful lifestyle. She was selfish, self-opinionated, proud, carnal, frivolous, lukewarm, double-minded, unaccommodating, vindictive, irritable and touchy on slight provocation. She sought for attention and cringed when someone else is in the spotlight, because she always wanted it for herself. Her love for others was also imperfect. She neither empathized with people to understand how they feel nor take pleasure in their happiness. She was indifferent and partial towards even sinners, helping those in need or those who approached her for help only when they're from her tribe or social class. She never took the pain to visit and spend time with the sick and lonely or pray for the needs of others, and never sacrifices for people. Moreover, she never accepted other people's viewpoints, and her commitment to the things of God was waning. Thank you. Unhappy with herself, she shared her struggles with her pastor, who told her she needed a second Christian experience called sanctification. The Bible teaches the twofold nature of sin, actual committed sins, and inherited or inbred depravity. Hence, there's a double cure for sin, the pastor said. Unfortunately, sin is first inherited before it is committed. At conversion, all actual sins are forgiven by God. That is, when a sinner comes to Jesus in confession and repentance of the sins he commits, such as lying, cheating, stealing, sexual immorality, murder, alcohol and tobacco intake, he forgives and saves him from those atrocities. But the urge, motive and tendency to sin, which are innate, need to be dealt with and the heart purified. This is what happens at sanctification. The inbred sin is purged and cleansed, and the heart purified. A preacher used a simple analogy to explain the difference between salvation and sanctification. When a plant grows into a big tree, it develops branches. If you don't want the branches to keep sprouting, you have to cut them off. But that wouldn't be a permanent solution to the problem, because as long as the tree is still in the ground, the branches will keep sprouting. Even if you hewed the tree, it will still grow and its branches sprout. You need to uproot the tree from the ground to permanently get rid of it and its branches. Sin is rooted in the heart just like the tree is rooted to the ground. What people see most times that makes them call you a Christian is what you do on the outside, which may be a facade. Jesus said in Mark chapter 7 verses 21 to 23 that all the atrocities you commit proceeds from the inside of you. Those actual sins, like the branches of the tree, are cut off by the power of God when you surrender your life to Jesus. He indwells you to restrain you from committing those sins. But if you continue without the inbred sin purged and your heart purified, you're bound to lose it at some point and commit sin again. Besides, sin is sin, whether actual committed sin or depravity in the heart. Except you're holy outwardly and inwardly, the scriptures say you won't get to heaven. God looks at the intents of your heart and certify you godly or holy based on your heart's condition. Those struggles you shared with me, Sister Daniela, disqualify you for heaven. You need to pray earnestly in faith that God will sanctify you, just as you did for your salvation. God will graciously bless you with that glorious experience. Thank you very much. Daniela took the counsel of the pastor. She supplicated for the sanctification experience all night and day, and God answered her prayer. You cannot claim to be heaven-bound when you have all sorts of urgent tendency to sin. You cannot continue to bask in the applause of those calling you Christian, or hold on to your profession of salvation which you had some years back, when your heart is clogged with lust, pride, carnality, irritation, tribalism, and doubts. You need to be holy outwardly and inwardly so that you will be with God in heaven. God expects you to be glorious within by being adorned with inward virtues and holiness, and not just having a form of godliness and appearance. Sanctification is an indispensable Christian experience. Without it, you're bound for hell, even if you profess to be born again. It is more than not cheating, fighting, lying, stealing, wearing makeup and shunning worldliness. It is a deeper experience than salvation, and it is must-have for every heaven-bound Christian. Thank you very much. Please, help us to subscribe to our YouTube channel to support the ministry. Thanks. I'm grateful.